This is Katherine and Christopher Tipper, and we are your favorite 401 couple. This episode is about tech and how it grew up and how 401k plans grew up kind of together. Let's start hitting off what started to happen after 2000 that started to accelerate this whole using computers. So in 2004, FT William product launch after 4 years of prep work.
It was a few years before. Right. I talked to Tim about this. He started coding in 99 or 2000.
But the point is, at a certain point, you needed to do 5500s online with the Department of it was the Department of Labor, right?
2004. Yes, I think it was the DOL.
You were told you needed to do it, and there wasn't a software vendor at that moment that could do it until FT William did it.
Well, so the others. Fort William was the first and only still compliance vendor born on the internet. Okay. Others could do it, but they were desktop based. Okay.
But part of this is the push and pull of what technology was, and the government actually, at a certain point in the early 2000s, believed that it was important to do your filing online for this.
That's 2010. That's later on, sweetie.
But the push and pull that we all believe the internet worked
we'll get
well
to some
enough.
Specific dates in a minute.
We could do that. Okay, so
2005.
I would say in February of 2005, the first, though now my number looks a little different. Well, YouTube started in 2005, but the big kind of push was Charlie Bit My Finger in 2007. And that's the first time we had like a viral moment, right? And it was ridiculous in some ways, but nobody really felt like the internet was like useful in this way. And now it suddenly becomes. And you could say that those social moments that push people to go, oh yeah, I'm using computers, also push them to go, okay, yeah, I guess I can use them at work too.
Right. Now, so cloud-based, so then the next one is 2010 is cloud-based platforms like Dropbox and Google Workspace, which is funny. It's funny, because in November 2002, we bought our second location. I mean, it was
second location.
Well, good first other location. I don't know. I mean,
some people would say second location.
Fine. We'd made other acquisitions after that, is why I was saying it was the first one. Okay, so they were in Denver, and there was no SharePoint. I don't know if Azure existed then, but if it did, it was really expensive and difficult. All right, and one of the benefits of Daytare DOS was the files were really small and light, and I think we emailed them back and forth. Put your eyes back in your head. Nobody had invented cybersecurity yet. 2002, yeah. And then eventually we started doing LogMeIn and stuff like that. So,
but one of the things I wanted to talk about was actually in advertising in like the late 2000s, 2007, 8, 9, 10, we thought sending paper to people to advertise was a way to do things, right? Like people would open their mail and look at it and make decisions, right?
According to the stuff in our mailbox at lunch, other people still think that.
Right. Well, now it's unusual enough. Maybe you look at it, but the reason to say that is the whole like push to be online and to have that online presence in life is so strong that a majority of businesses now believe this, and the ones who don't kind of suffer for it. And it's very interesting. Okay, so the other thing is like, DocuSign started commercial sales in 2005, and that's whole like
before Dropbox. Okay.
But the whole idea that you could have somebody sign something online and send it to them in that way, and it works and it's legal. That's what's, the acceptance of it being legal, took a while. But DocuSign started in 2005. So it's interesting to go, it was out there. But it was on the outside of acceptability.
But when it first started, I don't think you could legally DocuSign a planned document. I think that had to come later. And I did not check to see when that date was.
And so now the funny thing is it was unique technology at that point, DocuSign. And now it's starting to be that being able to sign in software is like a requirement of any software that you have. It's like a feature you don't know.
Well, it's something we look for. Not everybody does, Jerry.
Yeah, but it's moving there. I'd say it's moving there. Okay. And then actually in 2010, cloud-based platforms like Dropbox and Google Workspace begun. And that's another funny thing, is that everybody had in the past had to work in an office and have the software there, right? You were in the office because that's how software worked.
Right.
And you couldn't communicate between software and locations very easily.
No.
And so as cloud begins, then it starts to be having multiple locations or having people work remotely. It starts to be a wedge that you can do. But before that, that wasn't even something
Well,
that a company under a certain amount of people could consider. What, you
yeah,
think differently?
no. What some people were doing, it drove me nuts. What some people were doing is they would keep their desktop computer on all the time with LogMeIn running, and then they would have a laptop that they would use LogMeIn to get on their computer at work, okay, and check emails and do Word and all that through LogMeIn. So they would be working on their desktop in the office because on-prem was secure, right? Yeah, and there's basically not much on their laptop, and they would work that way
Yep.
instead of Google Workspace and Dropbox.
So we went through this phase where things are starting to come out. They're starting to be adopted a little bit, but they're not mainstream. Then we start moving into a period where you can do very amazing things online. It's acceptable to do things online. So
Right.
you can have documents delivered electronically. You can send it to a client. You don't have to put it in an envelope and mail it. You can send it to them. They can sign it. It can come back. It counts. Contributions.
And let's do a
Okay.
pause here. I'm
Sure.
going to try to find out from Fort William when they first started the client portal, because I don't think we had it. We did not have it in 2009.
I think it's a huge step that contributions could be done electronically. I know
Oh,
that
right.
it sounds
Yes.
funny, but you can set up to have all your contributions be done electronically. Um, once again, not waiting for the mail to get to some place and taking 7 days for that contribution to be there. You could file your 5500 electronically, and that meant you could see
Not,
that it actually got done.
that
Though you got
that
an
was later. That wasn't the first version.
That's
So
your edition.
in the late summer of 2000, for the 1999 plan year, the IRS and Department of Labor finally released the software for practitioners to file the first 5500. It was going to be filed paperly, but uploaded digitally. All right. And what you had at the print, the 8.5 by 11, the top, I don't know, 7.5 inches was the form. The bottom 3.5 or whatever is left was this 2D barcode. Okay. And I happened to be at Daytare a couple of days after the discs went out, because that's how they updated the system back then. After the discs came out, and
A floppy disk in the mail. It was like
no,
a book of the month
then it was
club.
the three and a half, three and a half. No, they were the harder one. No, we weren't using CDs then or DVDs. So like a day or two after they got mailed out, the phone was ringing off the hook. You broke my printer. It's spitting ink all over the place. It's all ruined at the bottom. In other words, nobody had read all the information we'd sent them. It wasn't ruined. It was this 2D barcode at the bottom. Now, what we found out the hard way was you couldn't staple the 5,500 pages together, because a staple hole was the same size as one of the dots for the 2D barcode, and that was being read as data. Oh, so this was this is why I wanted to talk about this, Catherine. This was the transition. Right. We were doing something in paper that could be uploaded electronically, because each 2D splotch on the bottom of the page corresponded to the data on that page. It was actually kind of cool for the day, And then,
but the one thing I want to say too is, from the standpoint of our office, still at that point, we had boxes and boxes and boxes of paper. Every plan year there was paper. Though what you did to work on it was paper. You had to go every time there was a new year. Did you get more office space?
We had a whole.
You were going to keep it for 7 years, and it was just paper. A lot of space.
We had a whole office filled with paper and an off-site storage unit with just filled with paper. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars being spent on storing paper. But then, as you say, January of 2013, eFest came out, where it is completely, really online.
Yep.
That was also another transition period.
Well, and that was the mad scramble, because they said it, and not every provider could do it.
Yeah. It was fun times.
I guess you've gotten over that
I
scarring,
don't
or you
remember.
have amnesia now. Jeez, I remember you losing your
Probably. Yeah.
absolute mind over
Yeah.
it.
Well, it was a lot of clients who could not handle the concept of doing something online like that.
Right, and that's part of the come along
Yeah.
of other
Although
businesses.
I'm pretty sure they were buying stuff on Amazon online then, but doing the
Well,
5500
I don't know.
was too much of a
I
stretch.
don't know.
So
Okay,
anyway,
so sounds weird, but Zoom didn't start till 2013.
12
That's what.
years. 12 years. Okay. Was it 12?
So
Yeah,
it's
12
kind of
years
funny.
ago.
You couldn't have a Zoom meeting, and a
No.
Zoom meeting was a bizarre thing anyway.
When did Skype? I bet they were using Skype then.
But
Skype
still,
for business.
people, yeah, okay. And so, and then we go all the way, and I guess you're going straight up to 2025. That still all the forms, they're getting them electronic. They're not all there yet, but in
This year.
2025, this year, first electronic form 5558, which is to do the extension. And part of
I'm
it
sorry.
is
This is momentous. That might be the horrible washing machine dance on it. At least I didn't try to dab. It was.
that's why we have a wingback chair so you don't fall off.
This was a long time coming. This is hopefully it's going to work out. So many each year, probably tens of thousands of compliance hours were wasted nationally, trying to get these things in the mail on time and then answering the question, how come I'm getting a late notice? Because when we know we mailed it in. So it was
Right.
just, it was a big deal. This should be,
Tough on the
this should be a
IRS
big,
to have paper as well.
they've been working on this one for a long time.